Leonardo da Vinci by Juliana Gomez. Today I will be talking about what the life of Leonardo da Vinci was and how he grew up and some of the background stories of him. I got the honor of actually getting to read most of his work and see it in real life when I went to Paris, and so I would be talking a little bit about that during my presentation today. And so I'm excited for you to learn with me because there is so much to the life of Da Vinci that I think that it would be a shame to not continue to research and to grow more and understand how he has really adapted the culture of art and actually going beyond borders. So to start off, I would like to go with who is Leonardo da Vinci. We can say, oh yeah, we know him. He did the Mona Lisa, but he did so much more than that. He was an engineer and a scientist and a theorist and also a sculptor and an architect. He was multi-talented. This man has worked really hard to be a dedicated artist in many different forms, and not just painting, but in what life has thrown at him. And so he looked beyond borders. And so he was born on April 15th, 1452, and he passed away May 2nd, 1519. And so he is famous for the listings below. I am not the best at pronouncing all the names, but the ones that really stick out to me the most, that are my favorite, and I will be talking about it throughout the PowerPoint, is the Last Supper and the Mona Lisa. And I'll explain further why they are my favorites. But Leonardo really kind of expanded what painting looks like and how you can have expressions without even expressing the actual emotion. It's wonderful. I found him so intriguing, and I'm very passionate about how he has laid this platform for us as artists or enthusiasts or even entrepreneurs, whatever it is, right? And so we're going to go on into his youth. And so Leonardo da Vinci, his mom wasn't married to his current father, but she got not remarried, but married to another man later on. And there's this story, this plot line of that I believe that God orchestrates everything for good, because this led him to get an amazing mentor later on in life and become the person that he became, of a wonderful painter, this artist, this sculptor, this architect. And so yes, it might be a little sad that his family wasn't the true family of the mother and the father, and but it was another form. God turns everything into good. So I found that even though sometimes we don't think that famous people go through hard times, but I believe that when he was 5 years old, he didn't know what he wanted to do or what he was pursuing, because when you start to realize in his adult years that he had no further education than just the basics of reading, writing, and math. And that for me was at first kind of shocking, because of what he has created and how he's set the platform for engineers to present day. That is amazing to me. It baffles me, actually. And so his mentor was Andrea del Varensko. I think I said that right. And so this was an amazing sculpturist. I don't know how to say that, but you understand. And then later on in his career, while he was still studying under him, at the age of 26, he was deemed an independent master of the art of sculpting and painting. I think that is beautiful to see how young he can be, but a master of what he has set his mind to, with an education of a basic reading and writing and math. And so later on, he creates the Last Supper, which took him almost about 3 years to complete. And I was like, wow, maybe that took him a couple months, but no, it was intentional. It was made by a purpose and for a purpose. And so later on, he has established and contributed to our development of art by making different sketches for us. And so he laid out a foundation of flying mechanics, of an organ, which for me, I was like, I did not know that he did that. And then later on, he makes a sketch of a bridge that looks like a bridge of nowadays. And so for me, I was like, wow, this man really, he made a big difference in our lives, and if we knew it or not. This is some of his most famous paintings, ones that you might have seen before. I know I have. I had the honor and the privilege of going to Paris and seeing the Mona Lisa. At first, I'm not going to lie, I was a little disappointed because I thought it was much bigger than it actually was. But then I realized, I was like, well, it was a painting of a woman. I wouldn't think that it was like 6 feet high, but it was a nice, decent painting. And you actually get to see how the Mona Lisa expresses emotions without expressing physical emotions. Like the side smile, you're understanding that she is smiling and she has this mystery behind her, and that she says something she knows that you don't know. And I think that is what's the most intriguing about the Mona Lisa, is the facial features of how Da Vinci painted her. Also, going on to the other paintings, is that they look as if they were there. You understand that the emotions that each and every one of have, but also the coloring of all the paintings have a similarity to them, even though the Mona Lisa is a little bit different than the lady or the man, but they have a commonality of, wow, these people are symmetrical and beautiful, and they have a mystery behind them. And then the last one, it's kind of like the adaptation of who we are becoming and the different structures of humanity. So I thought that was wonderful. I also put the dates down there so that you would be able to know what year they came from. And then my absolute favorite is the Last Supper. The reason for that is not just because it's about Jesus, because I do love Jesus, but it was because the intentionality behind the pointing, by the whispering and the nodding, and while Jesus is just sitting there in complete chaos and just at peace. And so you get to see the different dimensions that this painting has. I was surprised that in the 1500s, that Da Vinci was able to cast this out. He didn't have an education of art, and no one taught him how to do this later on in life, yes, but yet he was able to create a masterpiece of geometry, of mathematics, of reading, and the culture of that time of when Jesus was alive, and how all their colors have a different significance to them. And the black in the back kind of stands out because they're trying to make the table come alive. And so I think that this is such a beautiful painting. And for me, it's the most special because it represents my Lord and Savior, and how he's always in the midst of all chaos, and that he's at peace because he knows the one that holds him is God, and that's his Father, which is also him. And so these are my references of where I got everything. I hope you liked this PowerPoint. I truly enjoyed getting to know more about Leonardo da Vinci and his life and how he became the artist that he is, or he was back then. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week. God bless. Goodbye.